Now that we are stuck in quarantine, people are finding new ways to keep themselves entertained. From giving themselves funky haircuts, to purging everything in their house, to obsessively baking banana bread. We all have our way to keep busy. But then you have the people that are combating boredom by creating spooky urban legends to terrify us. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today I'm bringing you the top 10 scary quarantine urban legends. Starting off this countdown, we have the rotting body. The legend goes that a man was in quarantine in his basement apartment by himself. He passed away suddenly from a heart attack, but since we're in quarantine, no one knew. He was found a month later when the upstairs tenant noticed a weird smell coming from the vents. Thinking it was a gas leak, she called some workers over to check it out. Upon entering the basement, they found the man dead. The smell of his rotting flesh filled the basement. Whew! Yikes, yeah, I'm glad that's just a legend. In our ninth spot, we have the bored pets. You all are lucky if you have a pet at home that you're in quarantine with. I wish I had a dog so badly, but I don't. If you do have a pet though, then at least that's some form of entertainment. You can take them on walks, cuddle with them, or play with them all day. Side note, if you do have a pet, let me know in the comments below and tell me their name. Or better yet, DM me a picture of them on Instagram. It will definitely brighten my day. Anyways, legend goes that you aren't the only ones bored in your house, but your pets are getting bored with you. In fact, one woman claims at 11 p.m. she noticed her cat was missing. Eventually, she found her cat just chilling on top of her roof. She thinks that her cat got so bored of being in the house with the owner that she snuck up to the top of the roof to, spice things up. But honestly, if you're bored being stuck in your house, think about how your pets feel when you go to work and they're stuck at home by themselves for most of the day. Sad. In our eighth spot, we have the crazy problem. And by this, I mean people think that isolation will drive you absolutely mad. And not just a little stir crazy. I mean, they think that a bunch of people are going to be admitted into asylums. Of course, quarantine can make us restless, but people haven't gone crazy from it. Now, over the course of history, people that have been subjected to extreme isolation have gone insane. But those individuals are ones that, let's say, got trapped in a dark tunnel underground for months with no light sources, and you can't even tell what time of day it is or how many days have passed. Or even people in solitary confinement in prison. Meanwhile, we have a multitude of resources to stay busy and connected to others. So this is just an urban legend. For now. Coming in at number 7, we have the fake quarantine. There are people out there that believe that the real reason why we are told to quarantine is so that we don't witness the government doing suspicious activity. Just reminds me of don't be suspicious, don't be... Legend states that the US government is using this time to import more supplies from other countries for Area 51. Since over the years people are aware of the suspicious activity that goes on at Area 51, they have decided to relocate their main base elsewhere. Some new location that no one knows about. But in order to do this, they need to transport the alien species and all the other top secret information that they have. But how could they do this without people seeing large guarded transport trucks? I mean, they certainly would question it. Well, if we're at home and not on the streets, then we won't witness this. As a result, they can transport all their materials secretly to other locations around the world. In our sixth spot, we have the endless quarantine. Legend goes that quarantine will last forever. This will be our new normal and we'll be stuck living in quarantine for the rest of our lives. Hope you picked a good quarantine, buddy. With that being said, let me know in the comments below who you are stuck at home with. But anyways, I don't want to scare you, but this is not true. I mean, in Wuhan, China, where it all started, their quarantine ended after 76 days. They managed to successfully contain the outbreak. So no, it's not going to last for years, hopefully. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the test subjects. According to this legend, we are all the government's test subjects. Basically, the government is studying all of our behaviors to see how we're doing in quarantine. They want to see how long we can remain isolated before we go crazy or start to harm each other. So this experiment started off in stages. We are currently at the second to last stage. This stage is that we have to remain quarantined and only go out for essential services like getting groceries. Some countries are at different stages. The final stage is complete isolation. Meaning we are locked inside and can't even go out for walks or to get groceries. Groceries will be delivered to our front porch, but everyone has to stay inside. They are using all this data to see how far they can push the human mind. Making our way down the list at number 4, we have the government spies. So with everyone staying at home, one way people are staying connected is by video calls. Typically, people are using the website called Zoom. However, there's an urban legend that the government is using Zoom to spy on us and steal our information. Especially since companies are now doing a bunch of their meetings online through this site. They could be releasing valuable information for the government. As a result of this legend, people have been warned to not talk about sensitive information over Zoom. Instead, it's said to be used for just friendly chats. Coming in at number 3, we have the invisible guests. Well, legend goes that people are in quarantine with a different type of guest. This guest is someone from the spiritual world. That's right, people are contacting spirits to keep them company in isolation. I mean, I highly do not recommend this. All we need is for people to start getting possessed. Also, what happens if their home gets infested with evil spirits? Well, I mean, it would keep them busy for sure, but I wouldn't want to be stuck at home with a bunch of spirits. No thank you. In our second spot, we have the quarantine story. This legend was posted on Reddit 1 month ago by the user named New Age Solution. Legend goes that he went through a much worse pandemic and quarantine than the one we are currently going through. He said that he works for an international aid organization that deals with severe outbreaks. According to the legend, back in 1994, a secluded town in eastern Russia apparently suffered from a bad outbreak called the bubble sickness. It caused pink and dark gray blister-like lesions to form all over the victim's skin. On top of that, they had flu-like symptoms and in severe cases, delirium. But the Russian government kept the outbreak a secret, and it was easy to do so since the town was so secluded. This man's main responsibility was to distribute supplies to those in need. But with the death toll rising, the government told them that for 28 days, everyone had to remain indoors. Anyone who wasn't following protocol would be arrested or shot. Sadly, a woman named Leah didn't have enough supplies for her and her baby to last 28 days. When the 28 days were over, the man went over to her house to check in on her. It was terrifying what he saw, but basically, the woman had eaten her baby after being so desperate for food. And in our number 1 spot, we have the quarantine nightmare. Legend goes that a family fled New York and went to live in their Massachusetts lake house. That way, they can be more isolated from the big city. However, while being in their lake house, strange things started happening. The first was when they were on their porch in the evening and a figure darted underneath their deck. Then later that evening, they were startled by someone pounding on the front door. They looked out the window to see that a man was standing there banging on the door. He was pleading to be let in, saying that he was injured and needs help. But when the family questioned him, he wouldn't reply to their questions. He was just insistent on coming in. So they ended up covering all the windows and locking all the doors and just waited until he left. Eventually, they all went to bed. However, in the middle of the night, the family woke up to the sound of their window shattering. Everyone locked their doors and hid in their rooms. However, one of the sons didn't have a lock on his door, so he had to hide in the closet. That's when the man from earlier that day entered his room and just sat on his bed staring at the closet. After minutes of silence, he said, "I know you're in there." The boy ran out of his room and banged on his parents' door until they let him in. A few moments later, the police arrived, but the man had disappeared. They looked everywhere for him, but he vanished without a trace. Apparently, the family is still quarantining at their lake house, but they're scared that this man will make a reappearance. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out more comments from my video, Top 10 Scary Disappearances That Remain Unsolved Part 3. Game Theories Oof commented, "My grandma has the first Barbie ever created in her shelf. I bet it's cursed." Okay, that's pretty cool. I bet it's worth a lot of money. But yeah, I've seen the old designs of some of the Barbies and they're quite scary. Lennon McCartney 911 commented, "I dare Most Amazing Top 10 to reply back to this comment. BTW, love your vids." Challenge accepted. Dare accepted. Here's your response. John Greensway commented, "She should start shouting out 5 comments. Yo, let me get a shout out." Okay, if I did 5 comment shout outs, then the video would be super long. Maybe I should just do a full video shouting out comments. I'm just kidding, I couldn't do that. There are too many comments, but I see them all. I try to read them and I respond when I can. And that's all the comments I've shouted out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you. Legend goes that a family fled New York and went to live in their Massachusetts. Why can't I say Massachusetts? Massachusetts. I literally... Massachusetts. The fact is that I can say this no problem, and then Massachusetts.